Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Murder at First Sight All-Star Panel. Oh man, myself and August Love Story. What's up, Tommy? How you doing today?
What's
Oh, it's
what's
just
up?
you?
What's up? Oh
No,
yeah.
and Jackie's here with
Oh,
me. It's not
okay.
just me. It's never just me.
It's me and August Love Story. Oh, it do
Oh,
just be you
it's Jackie
sometimes.
Glenn. The two of
It do
one.
be you just
The
sometimes.
201.
Yeah. Wish I cleaned up now.
Don't talk about don't talk about my other hobby. You know, I'm just kidding. Oh man, we're here to talk about Married at First Sight, man. Episode 7, season 16. Jamaican Me Crazy, right? Jamaican Me Crazy. This was a episode starting to pick up a little bit. It's starting to be a lot to talk about in these episodes now. I like the fact that we get past the weddings and get past the honeymoon, and now reality starts to sink in for some of these couples, and you get to see the realness. I
Mm-hmm.
can't talk about the dog yet because I'm gonna wait a
No.
little bit later to talk about my man Chris and him crying about the dog. We're gonna talk about that a little bit later. I want to start off a little bit. Let's talk about since they had kind of semi not much Shaq and Kirsten this time.
Okay.
Yeah, tell me your thoughts on Shaquille and Kirsten.
Um, I really did. I just wrote two things about them, and by the second time I wrote it, I was like, "Dog, I ain't had nothing to write about them." So, really, sevens. The sheet, like they agreed, they rated each other a 7, like their relationship so far, or their relationship check in at week 1. They put it at a 7. So I was like, like it's always a question of, is that a fair assessment? Is that a fair assessment of where they are and versus what we've seen? Because what we've seen is Kirsten being mom and Shaquille being a child in her situation. She don't like the way his humor. Um, she's pointed out a lot of things that she don't like. She has pointed out a few things that she does like, but is a 7 right? That's the question that comes up in my head. And it's not for me to like be like, no, you don't feel like it's a 7 or anything like that, but it's just it doesn't look like they're at a 7. Like none of these couples look like where they said they were, except Nicole and Chris. But like you said, we was gonna talk about Chris later. But
Clint and Gina and they fives. They'll hate each other.
and I think they're faking. But but I think if they're at a 7, man, that's a good base to start a week off. I mean, to start their marriage at. It's just, can they work to get to yes at the end of 8 weeks? And that's what still, like, we still got to see that.
You said to get to 8.
Get to 8 weeks.
Oh, 8
Yeah.
weeks.
Or get to the 8 weeks.
Shaquille and Kirsten. I think Kirsten has definitely put herself in the position of, I'm not going to say things that make me look bad on camera. Whatever the thing is, it's like she pauses and she gives a little bit of a thought, and she's like, how can I make this come across friendly for the camera? I don't think Shaquille is giving himself that same space, but I think with their relationship, it is what it is. I still don't think she likes him. I don't think she's going to like him, and I think she's just going to go about it in a manner so that people don't hate her at the end.
Sounds like Jasmine and Michael.
Mm-hmm.
hmm I feel like Tommy, like I was like a 7, 5 maybe. It got to be something we missing, or that she's definitely putting on. Maybe he really feels like it's a 7, but I feel like she's definitely putting on. And then as the honeymoon ends, then she makes the comment that I know I have to make certain intentional moves and make him feel wanted. Yeah, you do. You might actually have to act like you like him, like when the cameras aren't on, because he let that cat out the bag.
But when you make on camera say you got to make some moves to make him feel intentionally wanted, That means y'all either had that conversation that he told you, I don't feel wanted,
Mhm.
I don't feel liked, or I don't feel attracted to you, or you don't like me. That conversation happened somewhere, right?
Mhm.
And so now you find him in a predicament or a situation. Do I look like the bad person, or do I actually really catch feelings for him? Because she always saying, I have feelings for him. I like him. He everything matches up. Everything adds up. On paper, we're so fine. We're so good. But your words say that, but we don't see that. We don't see. I'm gonna just say we don't see the actions on camera.
Mhm.
Not saying it does not happen off camera. We don't see the word. We don't see it happen on camera. And so, for her 7, she pulled our Eris. She ain't want to. She ain't want to. I can't remember who went first. I think did he go first or she went first?
um, she went first.
Oh, she went first. So for her to say it's a 7, I don't know. Maybe her other relationships were terrible, and this is pretty decent. Maybe the bald head knocks 3 points off.
I think it's like Artika said. She putting on for the cameras, and she don't want to come across looking like a you know what. Just like Jasmina. Well, and Jasmina did that to a certain
Yeah.
extent, but yeah. And all this time, Eris's cousin tried to say it was that Jasmine
Mhm.
with her pageant queen answers. No, Kirsten's the one.
Kirsten only got the pageant queen answer because she answered everything's politically correct.
Mm-hmm.
Everything.
But yeah, I didn't write much for them either, Tommy. It was like really bare minimum.
Yeah, they didn't have much going on this episode, which means that we're gonna get like a overkill of Shaq and Kirsten in the next couple episodes. Probably give us an overkill. When they get back, I think they're gonna be fireworks when they get back home.
I don't know. We'll see.
I think he ain't gonna be there.
Yeah, I think they're gonna be. It's just a sense of just seeing them actually working in the real world together. You know, because she's taking this an approach of I don't like, right? And he's more so of a passive person, but he's still standing up for himself. So it's a sense of they're gonna have to really hone in on getting to know each other. And once they do get to know each other, I think they'll be okay because both of them are they seem to be reasonable with each other in some cases. So sometimes you just need that, you know.
I agree with Kathy.
What?
Shaq should have been matched with Jasmine.
Definitely. I could definitely see that being a better match, but hey, we left it to the experts and not me, the expert.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that combination working. So if Shaq could be matched with Jasmine, do you see Kirsten and Eris?
I mean, Eris
They
definitely.
don't make the show.
I mean, that's his type though.
That's what I was gonna say. She got a big booty. She got a big booty.
Yeah. Oh man. Yes, she does.
Bah!
I was like, look, when they showed, I was like, T, Kirsten thick over here.
She got a donk.
We said the same thing. We said the same thing. Jack like she's thick. She bottom heavy.
Right.
I know that's a country word. I'm
Yeah,
sorry. Bottom heavy.
Bottom heavy.
Look, we just one step out the country.
Yeah. So she bottom heavy, but that's a good question. I mean, Kirsten and Kirsten and Eris might have made it. I don't know. Might not have been on the show, but let's Tommy, you brought this couple up earlier. Let's talk about Gina and my man Clint. I want to ask this: Did Clint have to stand up and apologize to the whole group?
No.
I say yeah, but she says no. Why you say no?
Because when you look at the core of what he said, he was talking about what he's dated in the past. Should I apologize for what I dated in the past or who I dated in the past? Not an apology. I don't owe you one. You got offended because I was like, I like girls that are thinner. But I mean, did he say it incorrectly? Perhaps. Was the sentiment behind what he said malicious? I didn't really think so. Not to the group, but they felt the way, and I'm not gonna apologize. But I also I'm not real big on apologizing for things that I didn't do.
Mr. Nice Guy here. Uh,
Too
I think
nice.
he I think he should have apologized. An apology is appreciated. I think. Is it necessary in this situation? No. I think more so, if any malicious intent, it should have been to Gina. But is the group owed an apology? No. But um does the is an apology appreciated? Yes. And the reason why I say that is because somebody took offense to what he said. And it's just a difference of communication. Hey, I apologize you took offense to it, but I did not mean that in any type of malicious manner.
I don't apologize because you took offense. You took offense, not me.
Oh my goodness, man.
Artika, you just like me.
I was about to say we are so we flip flop because I feel like Tommy and he feel like Artika.
I'm just like look at the temperature of the room, man. You're
Right.
not trying to cause any pain for anybody. You don't want anybody to feel like, or me personally, I wouldn't want anybody to feel like they were picked on or left out or anything like that.
I'm gonna tell you the best thing that Clint has given me was what an unfortunate turn of
Oh,
events.
that was too funny,
I'm
man.
using that going forward.
But then,
That is great. I mean, when he said that, I was like, yo, this dude right here is that's hilarious.
something
It's
else, man.
golden for TV.
It is golden. It is definitely golden. But you know, they said that watching after party, they said that scene that dinner. It took him 45 minutes to apologize.
hmm
Man, he never said I'm sorry,
They didn't show him saying I'm sorry.
but he did say I'm sorry.
They say he apologized on
He
after party.
apologized. Yeah. They said he apologized. But see, I'm like Artika. I'm gonna tell you why. If you got offended because you bottom heavy, I wasn't talking about you. I was talking about what I was dating. If you feel offended because you have your little hips and thighs, that's not me. I'm talking to my wife. I'm having a conversation with my wife, and you just happen to be privy to the conversation me and my wife are having. And I'm saying to her that I'm used to dating slender and athletic women. She used to dating people who are not gingers. Where is the problem?
Equivalent of me needing to apologize to you because I say, "Oh, I dated guys that were 6'1". What am I apologizing to you for?
Right.
I didn't date you."
I'm still just talking about the temperature of the room.
Right. See,
It's just to keep conflict down.
yeah.
You know.
But I don't.
But men now, Glenn, you can contest to this now. Men have to sometimes go the extra mile just to make sure things are okay.
Yeah, we do. But
We have to take that extra step, even if we're right. We have to say you're right, or we have to apologize for something that we.
To your wife, not all these other
my
people.
God!
Now I do that to my wife.
Listen, because I'm about to say, Tommy, I get you. Let me tell you about this person sitting next to me. I have to be like, be nice. Go say. He be like, but I'm like, be nice. Because I take it like you, Tommy. I'd be like, because I get what you're saying, Artika. I take, like I said, I take Tommy's approach. I understand. I said it in the group, so that's why I feel like, apology to the group is necessary because it came to me that some of y'all were offended. I'm sorry you felt that way. I definitely didn't mean it that way. Okay, you said my apology, done. Just so we can have a clean slate. But yeah, I mean, it's not necessary, but it's nice. It's nice. I thought it was nice of him to do it, but yeah.
I guess I apologize in a rude way too. I feel like I'm sorry you felt that way.
Right.
But I mean, like
yourself about why you felt that
like
way.
sometimes I think it's okay to say you felt that way, because if he said this with malicious intent, apology is it's not there. Apology doesn't come. But if you're saying this out of just the ignorance of, and I'm not calling him ignorant, but just the ignorance of the temperature of the room.
Mm-hmm.
You're just saying, hey, I used to date I don't know what he said, slender women, and
He said
this
more slender and athletic.
Didn't mean absolutely didn't mean anything by it. He just said it, and everybody else took it a different way, and they took it disrespectfully. you recognize that, oh my bad, I didn't mean it that way.
I would have been like, let's have a conversation.
The oh my
about
bad is the saying.
why did you feel that way?
See, that's
it doesn't have to go that way.
yeah. See, I'm like articulate. We on Jamaica. I'm gonna nip that in the bud right then and there.
Why were you offended by my dating preferences?
Right. Unless you have a personal attack with me.
But that keeps the conversation from going. I'm sorry, guys.
No, you
I ate some popcorn and started talking immediately. That keeps the conversation going forward without having to say, well, why do you feel that way? Because 9 times out of 10, most of the time, I'm not going to care why a person felt that me saying I dated slender chicks.
Right. And why
I'm not going to care why they offended by it. But hey, to keep the party going,
and I can't
I apologize. Didn't mean it that way. And what y'all like,
they offended because it's Clint, because they think he's arrogant.
That's what it is.
And I can't apologize for you feeling a certain way about me.
And so asking, right? I'm sorry, guys. And I'm
no, you good, but yo, you good.
We talking.
We're dialoguing. We're good.
But, and so because it's Clint, him asking, why are you offended by what I'm saying? Doesn't that feed into the negative connotation that they have about him, right?
No, but I want you to resolve within yourself why you have these feelings about what I said.
But it's not important.
It is to them if they're upset about it.
But I'm talking about from Clint's standpoint.
I'm absolving myself of your feelings.
Right.
They're your feelings. You need to own them.
I got you. I hear
so
you.
Figure out why you are not owning these feelings. So let's talk through it. What did I say that bothered you? You said girls was more athletic and more slender. I wasn't talking about you. So why are you offended? I'm talking about who I used to talk to.
Okay.
Right. Hey, that's the way I think. She has a point. I'm thinking the same thing. I'm like, okay, if anybody, they're mad because Gina mad.
No, they're mad because they have, let's be real. They're upset because they have self-esteem issues. And they felt like it was a jab at them. Let's be real.
There's no reason Jasmine should have been mad because Jasmine falls into the slender, more athletic build.
Right.
So if we talking about, hey, I don't feel a certain way, like you talking about me, actually, he wasn't even talking about her. And she got an after party and was like, I was offended. Why? Why were you offended?
She was offended because they was offended.
That's what it is. It's like we're gonna collectively be mad. And I'm cool. I go with the group on collective anger sometimes. But that just wasn't the moment. That wasn't the hill to die on for collective anger.
So if he would have said, you know what, I date girls a little bit bigger than you. I like girls a little bit more butt.
That's what Aaron said.
Would everybody clapped it up for him? Would they have been happy for him? Like, oh, I like a bigger woman.
No, because then the skin. You got a problem with skin and bones.
But ain't none of them skin and bones,
man. But I think it goes to I'm speaking from a man's perspective, of course. But we, as a man, it's like you notice that women have weight issues. They have problems with weight, so it's a very touchy subject. So if I know that I'm getting into a very touchy subject with the women around, I'm gonna walk a little careful. I'm gonna be a little bit more careful with the words that I say, because the thing is, I'm not trying to be offensive to anybody. I'm just trying to have this conversation. And you have to get that these are strangers. And like to the other groups, like the girls know each other, the guys know each other, but the girls and the guys don't know each other.
Right.
So it's like you're still trying to be careful to the group, but you want to have this conversation. So you're not gonna say, because even him saying slender is him thinking about what he's trying to say. Because that's not a natural word to use in conversation.
It might be. Remember, what an unfortunate turn of events.
That's true. That's true. You're right.
So my thing is always this: if we would be having this conversation, if one of the women says, you know what, I like a guy who's 6 foot. I'm gonna use our chicken 6'1", 225. I like a guy who has a more athletic build or a better physique. And what if all the men got offended when she said?
But y'all don't though.
That's not my point.
Suck it up.
That's not my point. That's
And
not
nobody
okay.
would be telling them to apologize.
Right. That's not my
Somebody
point.
would.
If a man can be offended, because men have weight issues or weight consciousness about their weight, you
I
know,
do.
right. Right. Some of us want to go back to our high school weight and be ripped, whatever. But again, but what I'm saying is sometimes I believe there's a double standard sometimes.
No,
It's definitely a
It
double
is.
standard. Like that's no
why don't
like secret.
Because there are men who care about their weight. We talked about last week, the waist trainers and all that. I saw
But
those
the
lights.
difference-
I saw those you pull up too. But
But I think the difference is that I'm not saying that it's not offensive to men, but the difference is a woman will be more vocal about the offense and how they feel about it. A man will take it and he'll go home with it and be like, you know what? I can't believe I'm trying to work on my arms and my pecs. They ain't had to talk about me like that. When it's not that men don't feel that way. It's not that we don't think men feel that way, but a man won't say it. He won't say it.
well, I'm saying now, I need to go do a couple more push-ups.
You do that.
I do.
Point example. And I know we're gonna talk about it later, but men can't cry without being
Laughing.
criticized. You know what I'm
He
saying?
was the first one to criticize.
I was.
Listen,
Yeah.
let's just go ahead. But my husband got the biggest hit. Okay. My husband laughed so hard about that. I mean, I was laughing too, but his laugh was different because mine was like, really? But because you can't bring both dogs. He laughed because he was like, duh, dude, just sit 1 second and stop crying and think. Just think for 1 minute.
That was my biggest issue.
Think through it.
Not my problem with him crying, right? I know. I think like, I have a problem with people who get emotional quickly without thinking the process through. Like
He was stuck.
like you're emotional and you haven't even tried to figure this thing out. You're still in Jamaica. You're not even back in Nashville and you're crying.
And he like,
Over the
what us
dogs.
gonna do? What we gonna do?
To me, I don't know, maybe just me, and maybe I'm wrong. As a man, I'm trying to be a fixer. As soon as you finish telling me something, my mind is already going to the process. How can I fix this situation to make it does not affect me and affect you? And how can we keep this thing as peace and easy? So I already would have been thinking, okay, maybe I can get rid of the dogs. Maybe I can send this dog to this person's house. Maybe we can put him in the doggy hotel for a minute. Maybe we can alternate. Maybe I can see him. I got a coworker. Look at how quick Justin thought of to think about his dog last season. I know everybody's different, but there's no way in the world I would have been on my honeymoon. And I think production is messed up because the way it was, I think production saw Chris outside crying and told, "Oh girl, your husband out there crying," and then they rushed out there with the cameras to see what he was crying for. Embarrassed over the dog, and she had to really calm him down, which was a good wife. But nah, man, I'm not crying because they told me my 2 dogs couldn't live with me. That's just me. I'm not offending any dog lovers. Y'all send all the hate mail somewhere else.
Ain't even that.
It ain't even about that. It's about a man figuring out the situation and trying to. Because I'm thinking this. Okay, what if you lose your job? Are you sitting there crying, or you go get a new job before you come home and tell your wife? Have you applied somewhere? So you know what, they let me go today, but I already applied for 3 other jobs. You know what I'm saying? I'm just looking at those type of situations. How do you handle it? I'm just like, as a dude, man, that was a lot. I would have been crying over that.
Man.
What an unfortunate turn of events.
I'm sorry. Like when it first came on, and we're talking about Nicole and Chris, but when it first came on, and he was just out there, I thought somebody died.
I did too.
You know what I'm saying? So that was my initial thing. Oh man, somebody died, and I think he said dogs, and I was like, oh man, his dog died. I feel for that. That's okay, right? But here it is. You're crying because out of the 3 dogs, only 2 would come. Bro, you have the 2. Her dog is out of but it goes to the double standard, right? Goes to our double standard of men not being allowed to cry. Yes, I leaned into that because I laughed. I was like, this is stupid. He's crying because his 2 dogs can't come or will be at home, and her dog will probably be somewhere else. And then I'm like, aren't y'all from Nashville? Like, I think he's a native of Nashville. And I was like, this is stupid. And so, but what nobody has said, or what I haven't heard anybody talk about, is she cried because she had to be away from her dog for a week. And nobody has said anything about it, but we've all talked about Chris crying because his dogs can't be at the house with her dog. But
Thank you, D Brown. I was about to reiterate that
what?
again.
Oh, sneak all 3 dogs
Who
in.
from the apartment complex is coming to your apartment to count the dogs?
I don't
One,
know.
two,
I don't know. They gonna charge somebody for it though.
or
Right, they wouldn't know. No, I had 3 dogs in there.
Hmm.
Man, but it's just like, man, that's that double standard for, but it's the double standard for men and women, right? Certain men can't show a certain emotion a certain way, or it's an instruction manual of how a man's supposed to be emotional. Now it's kind of cool that he, hey, he can cry. Kudos to you, brother. Crying is therapeutic. Um, but it's like for me, when I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, you're crying because y'all have a problem that you haven't even thought of a solution. And then she comes in and say, hey, this is what we could do. That's simple. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it warrants crying, especially in Jamaica. That's something I'm gonna deal with when I get back. Or I get on the phone real quick. Hey, can you watch my dogs? Or whatever. You don't got to get rid of your dogs, but they
Yeah,
may not.
nobody's telling you to go give them away.
Right.
It's 8 weeks in this space. Then you find a space that can accommodate all 3 dogs if that is an option. Like if that's where y'all's relationship is going.
I would think that she would cry more because her dog is the oddball out.
I didn't know she cried because she was on vacation from the dog. I must have
No,
missed it.
it's when she was talking to her dad and he was like, I can get the dog for a week and bring him to Florida for a week.
Mhm.
And she cried, I can't be away from my dog that long.
You were in Jamaica away from this dog, girl. Shut
Right.
up.
I was like, man, this is
Hey, by the way, y'all know Newton got attacked. Just saying.
He did. He did. I actually went back and watched our review of that episode yesterday, like the panel discussion, and I was like, this girl really like hammered in that Newton got attacked. um I I was talking to one of my guy friends. It's been a while ago. We were having brunch, me, him, and Tommy, and we were talking about men being fixers. And you have to approach a situation. Um, do you want a solution or do you want to vent? He wasn't looking for a solution in that moment, although he needed to be looking for a solution. And she instantly went in and was like, okay, let's see how we fix this. I do I thought, well, no, not I thought. She's the transplant from New York. I thought she moved down by herself. But she did mention that she would have family like rotate staying at her house to take care of the dog. And I immediately thought, why can't he do the same thing? It doesn't make sense. And then again, I was still on these 3 dogs are gonna live in this apartment. Like, what are y'all talking about? We not gonna focus on the dogs on camera, but these 3 dogs are gonna come stay in this apartment because we got 3 dogs.
I'm just like, he has 2 and she has 1. She needs to figure out what she gonna do with her dog.
Okay.
Or we just don't have any dogs. Like it was the dumbest thing in the world. And I love dogs, but we don't have one. But it's like I would make an accommodation for my dog if need be.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, I'm not gonna cry about that. That's just something that's just gonna happen.
Right.
I don't get it.
It doesn't make sense.
I love dogs too. I do. I love dogs. I don't even think my kids are begging me for a dog now, but I love it. I love dogs. My Mike Artika, I think I started doing this in our relationship. I asked that question: do you need me to be a listener, or do you need me to be a fixer? I do. It's not a bad thing. I just need to be clarified, so I need to know how to come in this conversation, right? So it don't turn into an argument because I'm trying to fix it and you just want me to listen, or don't come into an argument where You want me to fix it, and I'm just trying to listen. So before you start, because I'm not Miss Cleo, I don't dial a 1-800 number, none of that stuff. I know we've been married for a while. I need to know before you go into your story, do you need me to be fixer or do you need me to be listener? Because fixer, I'm gonna fix this bad boy in like 2 minutes. Here's about 4 or 5 suggestions we can do to solve this problem. All right. And I don't want to insult her intelligence. I've learned that. I don't want to insult her intelligence. I know that you can fix it.
Don't do that.
Just let me know. All right. Just let me know where I'm at. But Chris, it was too much. I agree with everybody else. I thought somebody didn't died, something happened. It was, to me, it was just a lot. And Nicole was level-headed, was what he needs, and came in here, this blah, blah, blah. She even took the extra step to call her daddy.
It's just like I said on our review. They couldn't both be out there crying. Somebody had to have some sense. And we can't both. Oh my God, because she did. She cried when she talked to her dad, but she was like, besides that, will I miss my dog? I sure will. But we got to do something. But he was inconsolable. His face was red. I'm like, dude, this is not good. And I think that's what it was. It was like, just somebody said in the chat, it was just so extreme. It was like, is this even real right now? Like Tommy said, it just be like, oh man, I hated to come and tell you, but you're gonna have to find something to do with Charlie because my dogs is coming in the apartment with us. Or like Artika said, don't nobody have to know we got 3 dogs in here. Charlie's small, it is what it is. But just to be, I was like, this just, dude, what's going to happen when it's something, and not that it's not serious, but like life or death serious? Am I going to have to be the voice of reason? Am I going to have to be a sensible person? Am I going to have to be the grounding person every time? Like, because Nicole looks like, I mean, she's a New York girl. She can get, but she going to need somebody to, when I'm going through that, is Chris going to be able to help her through, or is he going to be like, I know, right? Oh my God. What? I'm scared.
Yo,
I'm scared.
Have a code word. Pineapple.
I think the thing that bothered me the most about this man crying was how much he was crying. It was like you're I don't know how you feel about your dogs, right? And the fact that you like crying to the point where I felt like her rush out there was what happened, who died, because that's what I'm sitting there thinking, like, oh man, somebody gonna die while he on this honeymoon.
There's only 2 reasons that you should cry in Jamaica. You're so drunk you start crying, or somebody died and you start crying. Those are only 2 things that I could think about. I didn't get that drunk in Jamaica to start crying. But if somebody had died, likely would have had tears. But I can't see any other reason.
Man, I'm on my honeymoon. The last thing I'm thinking about is crying.
Right.
Very last thing I'm thinking about.
My other question I thought about was, when did production tell you that you couldn't have 3 dogs? Why would they tell you that on your honeymoon?
They said, watch this, watch this. We about to tell them about the dogs. Watch this, watch this.
Right? They couldn't tell you when you're on your way back. You didn't get no packet ahead of time. Like, you telling me these people don't know where they're moving to until they're back from their honeymoon?
Because they have to know. They go directly there.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So you got to give me a list. So when somebody must have told us, dude, hey, man, dog, by the way, y'all only allow 2 dogs. Where that say at in the contract? Like what? Like what? At 2 dogs at what time? When? All 3 of these bad boys about to run through here. What, y'all gonna kick me off the show? You gonna put me out? You can tell me I can't be on the show no more. Or you can tell me I'm gonna have to go home. Guess what? She coming with me. We ain't staying in this apartment.
This the thing. Jasmine's gonna have even more of a problem.
She got 13 dogs.
I think she like, the thing I think about is she's a breeder, 1, and then 2, I think she's smarter than Chris by not bringing it up, because we ain't heard anything about them talking about them dogs, and she knows the dog issue is gonna be a big issue for Eris. Eris is gonna have a problem with that many dogs in the house.
I would
Yeah, me too.
too.
4
Like,
dogs. Again. I love dogs, but if dogs are like children, right? That's what people make comparisons to. They're their children. They're their pet children. Okay,
these are my babies.
I ain't trying to have that many babies. Like it gets expensive. It gets like everybody, it's just a lot. So
It's just a lot to. It's a lot, especially in their case, to go from nothing to 4.
mm-hmm.
Chris is just adding 1 additional dog into the equation.
Mm-hmm.
Nicole is adding 2 to her
No, you got that
equation.
backwards.
What?
Oh, you never mind. Go ahead.
Back on
Go
Chris and
ahead.
Nicole.
Yeah,
I
go
reeled
ahead.
it back in.
All right. My bad.
They have to figure that part out, and I guess that right there would concern me, the tears, because that means that you're not quick in a crisis, and I need somebody to be quicker in a crisis than this. Like, Tommy and I have both had our moments of being panicked, right? I remember the biggest moment that sticks out for me and Tommy, with Tommy panicking, was when our apartment caught on fire. Like, he just didn't know how to handle this. And I didn't either, of course, but it was like only one of us can panic at a time. So somebody got to figure it out. Thankfully, Nicole did figure it out. I hate that her dad has to fly across several states.
Oh, he in Florida.
They in Tennessee, several states. He got to get out of Florida, across Georgia.
ahead,
Probably
man.
got to fly across Alabama into Tennessee.
Okay. All right.
They middle Nashville.
All right. Got it.
Y'all, funny story. We gave Tommy a geography lesson about 2 weeks ago.
I know the South, man.
But it was like about New York, New Jersey. What was it? Delaware, Maryland?
Delaware and Pennsylvania.
And he was just like, I thought they was like this, but they like this.
I had all that confused, man. I ain't had the slightest idea what Delaware was.
Oh man,
Yeah, it's below all those.
Yeah, I know now.
Right above Maryland.
I didn't know Philly and New York were so close to each other.
Yeah, 2 hour
I've
drive.
heard it, but I was like, man, they can't be that close to each other. But you know,
saw it on the map.
Mhm.
But yeah, I digress about the whole Chris and Nicole situation. He gotta turn on his fixer button.
but what if like my question to that whole situation is what does this do for Nicole's look of him? You know, because like some people that would be a complete turn off. Like, you're crying, boo-hooing about having one extra dog, and you haven't thought of trying to fix anything.
on after party, like, she was defending her man.
Yeah, she was defending him. She understood that, she loved her dogs like he loved his dogs, and she totally understand how he would feel that way, and and they was gonna work it out. And she was in there to defend him. She was there to talk him up and to
but just looking at it from a standpoint, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've known you 7 days, and this is the thing you choose to cry about.
I mean, lose it about.
Yeah. So it's like,
she loves
would
it.
you not think of him differently?
No, because she loves her dogs. Remember, she's the one that plays the puppet thing with her dogs, right?
Yeah, she does do that. That's
but she loves her dogs. So you have 2 dog lovers who can understand and relate to the situation. So she's not gonna look at him any type of way. She can be like, you know what? Oh, he cares about his dogs that much, so he can care about me too.
Until the day that he comes home and loses his job and she can't get him up off the couch. She loves it till the day that all the bills come in and they got more month than money. And he is like, what else gonna do? She love it till then. Then she gonna be like, God, dog, I gotta fix everything.
Yeah.
I asked for a man. If I
Yeah.
couldn't beat a man, what the heck am I getting married for? She loved it till then. I'm telling you, I would. In that moment, I'd be like, Ma, I don't know if I like him because he's soft like tissue paper. I don't. I ran right over top of him, Mama.
Like easy.
Mm-mm.
That's the thing, man. It's an unfair situation because if the roles were flipped, nobody would have this would not be a conversation,
Right.
right? But it wasn't. It was him crying. So it's like crying is not one of the most manly things to do. To boo hoo about your kid, about your dogs, is not the most manly thing to do. And then on top of everything else, y'all only known each other for a week,
Right.
so it's like y'all haven't even really gotten to know each other. Like I think it's fine for like if they make it through a year and he's, that happens. I think you've lived through enough. But I
Mm-hmm.
don't think it was the right time for him to be that emotional in front of people. I mean, like it happened and she dealt with it fine. That makes them closer to one more thing. It's something for them to laugh about later on in their relationship and everything. But um, maybe it makes it where he can realize he loves her next episode. Cause she asked him this episode if he loves her, and he was like, "No." I think she says that because she thinks it sounds nice. Cause she's asked him every episode if he loves her.
And I think she's gonna do it every week
Uh-uh.
until he says yes. She's gonna break him down. She's breaking him down slowly.
Chrissy,
ready?
you love me.
You love me.
You love me?
You love me.
You love me? You know
You
me?
gonna call me like you said you would.
Right. She wants that though. That's her. She wants affirmation, and her love is affirmation,
Yeah.
affirmation. She wants to maybe to be affirmed and to know that this is what's going to happen. I want to be affirmed to take care of that. So she want to be affirmed. Now you shouldn't have to ask me every 2 days because my love for you yesterday. You asked me yesterday that I love you. It ain't gonna change overnight.
Right. Now it does change overnight, but it's like one night.
Well, she makes sure
Switch-
last night wasn't
the
that
switch
night.
cuts off.
It depends on what you do at that night.
Right.
Make it
She was
change.
like, "Look, I fixed the dog situation. You
Oh,
love me."
man. Somebody brought up a great point, Lynn J.
Yeah.
With that's something I never thought about. But if that's the case, I think that's something you talk about right then and there.
Well, we can't get into too heavy of conversations on honeymoon because remember, Miles was villainized for that.
Yes.
Who is Miles?
Karen and Miles,
Carrying them out from New Orleans.
when he was like,
Oh.
"I'm depressed," and everybody's like, "Why you tell her that on the honeymoon?"
I said,
You was one of them.
Well, I take that back, man. I think those are just like if you're comfortable, right? Now, if you're going through it and you're not comfortable talking about it and stuff, I don't think you bring it up. But if you know that is something that's going on with you, you have to talk through it. I guess I don't know, man. It could be it, man. I don't know.
No,
I'm gonna let that go.
but no, you're right. But I think those comments. I think what I would use. I'm gonna just use me. These 7 days on this honeymoon for, we will talk about everything, right?
Mhm.
We will talk about from beginning to end. Those conversations wouldn't be like Eris. What's your favorite sexual position type deal. I want to get to know you, right? I want to get to know you so we can become when we get back to whatever city we're in, that we can kind of at least function on a very good friend level. I'm with you for 7 days, 24 hours a day, and we should be able to have deep conversation. You should be able to know what makes me tick, what gets me depressed, what gets me what makes me happy, what my bad days look like. Going back to the Miles and Karen situation, he told her there's some days I get down. I have these days, and he was being honest with her and letting her know, hey, this is if you see me like this, it has nothing to do with you. All right. And I totally agree with that. But again, and I think you should also have a solution. If you see me like this is what I need you to do for me in order for me to bounce back. Or whether it's you need to leave me, just leave me alone for a couple hours. Don't pick and pry. Don't keep asking me 50 million questions. Whatever it is, right? Just let me be for a minute. I may have to go to therapy. I may have to go see my counselor. I may have to go see my psychologist or psychiatrist. I might have to refill my medication. I don't care. This is where this is where it's gonna be at, just so we can have those guidelines. Shoot, I know. Well, I can't. Yeah, I know a lady now who has a safety plan. She got a husband who's overweight, and she says if you ever, while something happens, I know how to get out. You know what I'm saying? They talked about those conversations. I think when you're in relationships, you got to have those conversations. They don't watch the channel, so I can do that.
I agree with you, man. But you only have to have those conversations once.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like if you know that you're going through some type of depression, Married at First Sight is probably not the thing for you to sign up for. But if you're in a position to where you're taking care of it, like you're actually going through the steps of overcoming it, I think okay, and you get chosen to do Married at First Sight. I think those are conversations you have in the beginning, just because, hey, this is where we are. This is what I'm doing, and you should feel comfortable in talking that way with people if you're doing what you need to do to fix it. If you're fixed enough or went through enough of the steps, I don't know how it rolls, but if you went through the whole process, that you would be comfortable talking about it, because the situations happen, and once you get to a certain point, you feel comfortable talking about it, so I don't know. I hope he does fall in love, and I hope she falls in love, and they love each other forever.
I think they're the only ones gonna make it. Truth be told,
like after this episode, I think so too, man.
Right.
Is it okay for me to change my answers, or I gotta stick to it throughout the whole season?
You can change. You can change.
I think we're gonna go 1 for 4 this 1 for 5.
I think so too. Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. Man, they don't look like they're gonna mesh. How about Chris having the guts to call Eris out at the table? Oh,
I can appreciate that.
Yeah,
I can appreciate that. That because what he's saying, what Eris is saying, is not fair to Jasmine.
Right.
Now, even though it was 2 different questions asked about like the number ratings, I don't think it's fair that he has not had that conversation with her about the attraction, because now she's going off this false pretense of where they are. Mm-hmm. Like if he's not attracted to her, hey, I don't know. He's trying to be nice. That's one. And then 2, he's trying to figure this thing out because he's not able to move the way he wants to move, the way he's used to. Which I get. You can't just flip a switch. Like if you did one thing for 100 days straight, that's the thing that you do. And then this switch, you trying to just change it all of a sudden, it's gonna take time, and you got to move into it. And the way he moves is completely different from how Jasmine moves. And now I got a wife, and he's like sticker shock. The idea of the stamp that he's a husband and he has a wife has shocked him, and he's not fully attracted to her, because I didn't have to deal with that. I'm completely attracted to my wife, and probably with Aris, he's probably never been with a woman that he wasn't attracted to like that. So, but I can appreciate Chris pointing that out.
I appreciate Chris for calling him out, but I also appreciate the fact that Dominic and McKinley was like, yeah, somebody's lying, which means
McKinley said that.
McKinley went back and told some information. You know what I'm saying? I think people got onto the fact that Eris was lying. You know what I'm saying? That Eris, like, but again, Eris, and he's a smart man. I'm gonna say, well, this is why I give him credit. You know how everybody dog Clint. There's no way in the world you're gonna sit at that table and say that your wife is a 4 in front of all these people.
But everybody knows there except for the women. Which
yeah, everybody already knows except for the women.
So that's why McKinley's like, man, this guy's full of crap. They all sitting there looking at him like, for real.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he wouldn't look. He's smart enough to know. Read, like Tommy said, you said earlier, read the room, right?
Yeah.
He read the room like, Not here, not now, not the place, not the time. Nope, you will not have me looking like Chris.
But you know what?
I'm talking about Chris from Atlanta season.
Yeah.
Not Chris.
But he could have very easily been like, who did that? It was on the other season when they started rating. Well,
Right.
I don't like to put a rating on.
Brett
He
did.
could have very easily just been like, I think it's real superficial to rate. I don't want to get into that. And then instead of lying, telling some, I'm gonna say a 7.
RT, I agree. I think some of the women knew. I think Dominique knew. I think some other women knew what he had rated his. We already knew. Kirsten knew.
True. Mm-hmm. Yes, because Shaquille dropped the bomb. Dropped it.
No, don't drop the bomb. Shaquille was a snitch. Call it what it is.
He told Kirsten.
Shaquille was a snitch.
That man said he ain't attracted to his wife. What?
Yeah. Shaq like gave out volunteered information. We don't volunteer information.
No, we don't volunteer information. Don't volunteer information.
But I really, that's a conversation, and that's a conversation you have to be mature enough to have.
Yes.
And I think that's the issue with Aris. He's mature. He's a very mature guy, but I don't think he's mature enough to have that conversation, and also for her to receive the way he says it. Or I ain't even gonna say mature enough. I don't know if he knows how to say that without ruining the experiment for him.
Well, he did it kind of. He kind of said it in towards the end when he kind of said, "Feel like a friend."
And after he thought about it, like he didn't like up until that point, he didn't know what to do or say. He knew he had to say something. After they came to the table, because Chris asking that, what do you ask? If he could stay in love,
do you think you can fall in love with her?
Right. Yeah, after asking that, he has to come face to face with that answer, because okay, you don't have to answer in front of everybody, but then when they get back to the room, that's a question that that's gonna come up.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you didn't answer it out there, but do you think there's a possibility that we fall in love with each other?
Mm-hmm. And knowing that's her biggest fear, that we do these 8 weeks and I don't have a husband who loves me.
Yeah.
I don't have a husband who's with me. I don't have somebody that I'm connected with, because you put yourself out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
You put yourself out on this show to be married. You put yourself out on this show to get somebody for a lifetime. And when it doesn't work, there's some psychological failure that's there. There's some psychological hurt. There's some things that you feel like that you have to do some searching on the inside of yourself. Like, was it me? And then, then you watch it back, or because not only they got to relive this because it's already played out, right? They could be past it, but watching the show or reliving this open up some wounds. And so you get somebody who say they didn't love you or don't want to love you after 8 weeks. And that's hurtful. Well, not to mention, we'll get to that other part later with Eris and but yeah, it's hurtful.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with you. I'm just checking over my notes, just make sure I ain't missing anything. But when he said he was feeling guilty because he not showing interest in her, and that tells you like what's going on, like what's up with her, because I think it's something she did that just completely turned him off, and he's trying to fight through that.
She told him no. She told him he couldn't get no sex.
It's reminding me a lot of Chris and Paige. It's reminding me a lot of Keith and Iris. Because Keith was not liking Iris. Like, that's why when we got to decision day and Keith was like, no, everybody, I know I clutched my pearls. I said, well, God dog, what just happened?
I remember that.
Remember that? Everybody was like, she was like, you what?
I knew they was together.
That's what I'm saying. It threw everybody for a loop. So I like that Eris told her up front. Then we get 8 weeks later, she'd be like, for real, you don't like me? Wow.
He just said he was attracted. He did like some things about her, like some qualities and characteristics.
When I say I mean me, you mean attracted to me.
This is what got me, what she has to deal with, because it adds a lot to the story of Eris and Jasmine, is that the friend that he slept with, well, the girl he was sleeping with prior to getting assigned to the show, they are mutual friends with Jasmine. And they found out on the honeymoon when they were looking at each other's Instagram. And he told Jasmine, I slept with this girl. Now, mind you, You have
Yeah.
a mutual friend, and you done slept with the girl, and I knew y'all was in a relationship, but now you tell me that you're not attracted to me as a woman. Here comes the comparison game,
Yeah.
right? That comparison game. So what was about her that you was willing to be in a relationship with her? Now you married to me, but you're not attracted to me,
The difference is he picked her. He
right?
ain't picked
That's
Jasmine.
that's true. That's true.
Right,
And
which makes Jasmine feel even smaller, right? Because think about it. If you really liked her and you had to break it off with her to be on the show, but you picked her, you thought you were gonna get better than her by being on the show, and when you realize that you didn't get better than her, there's a problem. And Whitney, that's a mutual friend. Not saying they're best friends. She just said mutual friend.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So
No, go ahead.
now I'm just saying that's a lot for a person, any man or female, to have to deal with.
But I would just put it in perspective, like I said. The difference is that's somebody you pick for yourself. The experts picked me. So it'd be different if you was like eeny meeny miny mo and you picked her and didn't pick me. That's not what happened. And we've all said this. You coming into married at first sight, 9 times out of 10, you're not gonna get what you asked for.
Mm-hmm.
You might get what you asked for as far as characteristic traits. You gonna get that, but you ain't necessarily gonna get what you asked for physically. We have hardly ever seen it.
Yeah, it might have been far between.
Amani and Woody and Amani, Greg and Deanna.
Nah, because Deanna really wasn't feeling Greg when they first.
But it wasn't like she wasn't attracted to him. It's just she hadn't been in a relationship in so long.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
a lot of them, that right there, when they hit that aisle, and they be like, oh, that's what y'all picked for me. Come on, Chris. All these black queens, all these Hispanic queens, all these white queens, and this what you bring me?
That's one. That's one for the ages. That is,
sir.
That's a second.
I'm sorry, man, but I felt Chris when he said that.
Ain't that something?
I felt him, but it's like it goes back to what we were talking about earlier, man. You like as a man, there's certain things you can and can't say, and that was one of those things. Now, I
Absolutely.
think Aris, on the other hand, is walking on the eggshells because he don't know how to present this. Like it was when he said, "Hey, I need my alone time," and all this and all that. Um, when he said I need my alone time, I understood what he was going through because that's how Artika is. But then he was talking about during my alone time, I thought of this and I thought of that, and I was trying to break down. And then they had that conversation about them feeling like friends, and she was like, I don't want to be a friend, I want to be a wife and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, you're trying to figure this part out, man.
Mhm.
And the best thing you can do is to be honest with her.
Yeah.
Like y'all talk about things with her, like the mutual friend thing. When I found out about that, and I ain't found out about it until Glenn was like, made his video. Right. Breaking news, breaking news.
That's also how I found out. It was what encouraged me to go watch After Party.
Right. When I found that part out, I like me and Artika had relations with each other's friends before we got together because obviously we met.
Don't be telling my business.
Well, I've had relations with a friend of Artika's, and it was funny because when we first got together, that's a question that we had because we went to the same school, we knew the same people, we actually hung out with some of the same people, you know, and it was a question that come up. I don't think it should go any further now. It was 2 weeks ago or 2 weeks before they found out.
He is not giving it up.
Right, I see that. 2 weeks before they found out they was getting married, but it's like he's here, he's in this process, man. I don't think that should weigh anything. You deal with it the way you deal with it, but then you come back and the ultimate goal is to can we say yes at decision day? And I think that's what she has to look at. But Eris has to be honest with her and he has yeah, and she has to be honest with him with her response and everything. So
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think the um Eris is telling the truth, like everybody says in the chat. But there's a way that you tell your truth, not to make your wife or your person you're attracted to feel bad, right? There's a way that you handle certain people when you're learning about them. You have to handle um, her with nice gloves because this is because you want to. This is your wife. This is who you want to be with, right? Well, this is who they chose for you to be with for the rest of your life. It's only 7 days, but I think you have to deal with that. The mutual friend thing, I don't think is a big issue. He was honest about it. Like I said, in my video, being objective. If he continues to see this woman, it just makes it awkward for Jasmine because she's now comparing herself to the other person. It makes it awkward. Um, and so, especially when he's telling you that you, or telling other people that you're a four. And so you may want, okay, if I'm a four, what was she? So that's why it makes it awkward with Jasmine and Eris. I think they can work through it. I think his honesty can be um, turned around a little bit. I'm like everybody else. I'm waiting to see what happens when they get back to Nashville and how can they adjust with everyday life and what kind of advice the experts are giving them to try to make this thing move on. And I hope the expert don't tell them to sleep with each other because that's not the end all to be all. That is not
Don't
it.
do that.
Don't just sleep with Eris because Pastor Cal's telling you to sleep with Eris. Don't do that. That's not a good thing. But I'm interested to see how they able to work that out.
The only other thing I want to say with them is, man, did Eris irk me going through that new apartment. I want these drawers. Don't do this with your shoes. Everybody come visit me. No, I'm gonna take this part of the closet. I was like, please be quiet. I wanted her to tell him, shut up. I don't know who you think you are. It was only child, like, spoiled vibes coming out real bad. Real bad. And I ain't like that.
yeah, I didn't too much dig that. It was more so nerve wracking than anything. It's like, dude, just put your stuff in there, man. Like, stop being so directive and just put your stuff there. Y'all talk about it and make a decision, man.
Nah, he she seems like the type to not have a opinion about it. And so he was gonna make sure that his opinion was known before stuff was just wherever it was gonna be. I hope that the conversation didn't go like it appeared. I hope it was very much so cut up and was just all of the points were being made that he was saying. But okay, you taking the mic? All right. Um, but I definitely think that it's weird moving in with someone, and the only someone that I didn't know that I ever lived with was in college. And it was kind of like first person there gets to establish my bed's on this side, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And so he's just taking that approach of I'm not going to give you room to change what I already had thought of for myself. But even though I'm not an only child, I have only child syndrome. So I also kind of got it because you don't have to compete for space for things. So you're very direct about where you want your things at. Even if you don't have a clue about the other stuff, the things that you know for certain, that's the things for certain. Like, I want the left side is mine.
Yeah, I definitely think Jasmine needs to talk more, or we need to see it. Her being more of a vocal person in the relationship, just because he's gonna run over her if she allows him to,
Yeah.
and that's not gonna work. You know, the ultimate goal is for the couples to actually say yes in the at the end of the 8 weeks, and be able to have a relationship of forever and ever. Um, they got a lot of work to do.
I don't
I
know.
mean, it's you see it like they're really marching forward, and I don't know how they can do it. You know, I don't know if they'll be capable of doing it because Jasmine is gonna fall in love next week, and Aris is still gonna be on the fence at the end of 8 weeks. You know, and that's gonna be an issue. How do you meet in the middle? How does she rein that in a little bit to like actually get to know him better, and how does he actually get to know her better with the attraction being an issue, and so those are the things that they're going to have to actually fight through and figure out, um to actually have this thing work.
Yeah, I think sometimes I think about Elijah Wan and Katina, how they kind to cater. She's catering to Eris, right? She's catering to Eris. She wants to make this marriage work, but he's not. And what we see sometimes, he's not reciprocating that because he's used to being catered to, and he's not used to being the one catering to someone else. And I think that's the issue. Is it seemed like everybody has done everything for Eris, and he really hasn't done. He have to do anything for other people, and so she's going to try to do things to keep Eris together as a husband and all that, and Eris not knowing that this relationship is a give and take. It has to be reciprocal. You have to give to her. She has to give to you. There has to be some communication. It's just not you one way. I saw somebody talk about, oh, make sure your family take their shoes off. Well, guess what, bro? My response would have been, you make sure your family take their shoes off, right?
He said, oh, they already know.
Yeah, well, I know he said they already know. But again, just in case, make sure your cousin, out of been specific, make sure your cousin take her shoes off, partner. You know what I'm saying? So again, those type of things that she's gonna have to be vocal about and not just give into his way. And she gotta say, look, let's sit down, talk to somebody this week. Let's have rules of engagement. What do the rules look like for our house? No, you're not gonna dictate those to me, but this is our living space. We live here, not just you. So what are we gonna do for our family or our friends? Because we both live here. So there's some things that I'm sure she does some things that she do at her house, that she does at her house, that he doesn't do. And they have to figure out how can we merge these two things together so it can be um, um, harmony for the both of us. And I think that's where the experts come in at. These guys, because remember, Eris has never lived with anyone before. That he's never lived with any before. So he doesn't know how, I hate the word to use this. He doesn't know how to share a space. He doesn't know what it means to share a space, right? Which I thought was kind of weird because, okay, brother, if he went to college, he must have stayed in the dorm. He must have stayed at home, right? For most people, their time with sharing a living space with somebody is college. You learn things. You learn how to maneuver, how to navigate, how to keep your space clean, or how to make sure your stuff is taken care of. You learn how to put the tape on the door to make sure your roommate don't go in your closet. You know what I'm saying? Things of that nature. Your RA don't go to your room and play video games over the holiday break. But those type of stuff, and Eris hasn't learned that, and so there's the things that he has to learn. 39. I'm not mad at him for being 39, not living with anybody, because he's been self-sufficient, but he doesn't know how to play with others.
Self-sufficient as much as selfish, and not want to be boxed in. Just saying.
Oh yeah, Mona, you talk about that his father death. I mean, I can't put a time frame on it. Some people have struggled with it, a loss of a parent for a long time. A long time.
Yeah,
that happened when he said he was like 12
Yeah.
and 39 now, so 20 plus years.
Yeah. I agree with everything you guys said when it comes to Jasmine and Aries. I really I'm rooting for them, but it's like as the weeks go by, you like, this probably wasn't a good pick. I would have chose somebody different for her. But she is not vocal at all. And yeah, that's all I got for them.
Dominic and McKinley. I'll let you guys start.
Oh, I've been waiting on.
I'll let you start. Tommy, I'm gonna let you start with it. Dominic and McKinley.
Man, if he wasn't the worst choice, I'd like we. First off, this man, like everybody's like Dominique still got time to mess up, but I'm like, she's not giving much to work with. Like this man, I didn't know he moved from Michigan to California to Nashville. So when she said that, that does look unstable. When she goes into his room, his room at the house, it's like he hasn't made Nashville home yet. and all she's thinking, or I feel like all she's thinking is, I'm not moving. So how is this gonna work? Type of deal. And exactly. And he doesn't have an answer for it. You know what I'm saying? It's no, well, this is why I do this, or this is why I do that type of deal. It's just you're right. Like that's not comforting or anything like that. That's not telling me, hey, you're in this commitment to be with me. If she's saying she's not moving from Nashville, if she's saying she's wanting to be married at this point, and the commitment thing, everything points to he's probably finna move within another year. It's like, what do you do? Why did you sign? And then when she asked him, this is what I think threw me off the most is when she asked him, why did you get signed up for it? I don't know if he answered that question or said, I don't know. But it wasn't a sufficient answer, whatever it was. And it's like what do you do to respond to that? What do you do with those answers? Because if the only thing you have is what they say is their word, his word ain't strong, ain't building a great case for himself. And then on top of everything else, it's she don't like all this joking, and it gets to a point now where I can't trust what you say. And if I can't trust what you say, I can't trust you. So I'm team Dominique right now. I know she gonna do something, but it's like she's backed into a corner, and it's like, how do you want me to proceed when you know in this experiment? Because the commitment level I don't think is truly thought out for Mac.
Yeah, his story is confusing to me. He's in the cannabis business, but he moved to a area of the United States where it's completely illegal. What are you doing for work?
Right.
You live there with your friend's parents, which I get it. We have friends that have moved in with other friends' parents to get on their feet in a new city um to get it together. But 5 months in, you're saying I don't want to work. I mean, not I don't want to work. I don't want to get an apartment, but I want to get married. Those two commitments aren't the same. And then someone in our comments said that he was actually trying to get on Married at First Sight San Diego. And when that didn't work out for him, that's when he went to Nashville. I don't know how true that is. Again, I think I don't remember if it was here that I said or if it was on our review, but if it don't happen on the TV screen, I don't know that it happened
Yeah,
unless somebody else says it to me.
but I heard that also. That rumor I heard that him and Eris was transplants from the California season or San Diego, and they just happen to have roots, or Eris had roots in Nashville, which made it easy. And then McKinley had a friend in Nashville because the girl don't even live there. It's the girl house. She lives somewhere else, and
Yeah,
he,
I think they said her name was like Taylor or something.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know that being the opportunity to get married and possibly like the person that I'm marrying would be enough to uproot me from a life elsewhere. Um, I don't know. It just there was a lot of fuzziness surrounding his position on the show. And I'm like, are y'all running out of guys that are like applying? Because what is going on? Mark the Shark applied twice, like both Boston seasons. So it's just, I don't know. It just, McKinley doesn't make sense to me. And I thought that it was going to be Dominique that didn't make sense to me. But it's kind of sad that even with all of her things, like she's the more grounded one in the relationship. It just doesn't make sense. I don't know that we're getting an accurate portrayal of all of the things about him that she says she doesn't like, because the quick little joking here and there, it's like she should know that he's joking, and that's just his personality. But I don't know. what did that say? I agree. Out of all the people in Nashville, this is the best 10 they could find. It doesn't make sense. And I know a lot of single people in Nashville. A girl we went to school with actually was like in the opening of the matchmaking special because she was trying to get matched. And I'm like, she would have been a good person to pick, but I guess they just don't have enough guys and they just got to work with what they got. But they're always boasting about 70,000 people applied. And it's like, it was 70,000 people that applied, but were they from all over the US? And y'all was just saying, hey, we'll foot the bill for you somewhere to stay if you do this show.
Yeah, I agree with his mom does want him up north because if you heard on After Party, the very first After Party, he was off the 50 grand. His mom said, I'll pay the 50 grand fine for you not to get married. Or was giving him 50. And he said he thought about it. He said he would have took he thought about taking the 50 grand. But I think, I think he's looking for something and it's not Dominique. And I think Dominique realized that he's not it. Because what does he like to do that she enjoys? What do they have in common? Right? She's an outdoors person. He's an introvert. He's a house person. I mean, she has a house or got a good place. He lives in. I'm not saying and I'm not knocking anybody who doesn't have anything. Don't. That's not what I'm saying. But he looks like he's a vagabond, right? He doesn't stay in one place. He don't stay in one place for a long period of time. He's always hopping up, moving. And again, she wants stability. I mean, I don't know too many women that don't want stability. She wants something that's stable, and Nashville is stable. Now, I think if he'd have told her, let's go to California, let's go to Minnesota, let's go here. I'm stable here.
She ain't going nowhere.
She ain't going. But he has at least have to make a positive argument for her to go. She ain't going now because she see how he lives. She don't trust him. It's back to that trust factor.
Because she went in that house and he was like, here's my bed. She was like, what in here is yours? Well, those aren't my pictures. This is not my dresser. It's not my game system. These not my DVDs. These not my CDs. She was like, where's your stuff? Oh, you mean these little 6 shirts in a closet? She was like, I have nothing to make a judgment about because like, it's like you don't even, you look like you're visiting.
They should have did him like they did Christina with Henry. Like, let's not even go over there. When I moved to Georgia, I stayed with one of my cousins until I got an apartment. I only stayed with them. It was him, his wife, and their son. I think I stayed with them for about 10 days. Granted, he's been there 5 months, but it looked like a guest room with a suitcase in it when I was there. I wouldn't have been going around decorating their house either. First off, most guys that I know, until they purchase a home, don't have any type of decorations in their house unless they mama or their girlfriend put them in there. So I wouldn't have even assumed that he would have come in and decorated the space. But they shouldn't have brought her to the space like she was going to come and find something. This is his friend's parents' house. Like, no, he ain't got nothing.
But I mean, even just a family picture on a dresser. Nothing.
But not even that though. It's like, I agree with one of the comments. After a certain period of time, I get tired of living in somebody else's house.
Absolutely.
I'd have stayed with somebody for a minute. And at that time, I'm like, yo, time to go. I ain't gonna stay here for so long. I overstayed my welcome. Right?
Because I think after a while, the people you staying with be like, it's getting on to be 6 months, 7 months.
Right. And you come.
What you think you're gonna do?
Well, you come and go, and what are you doing? What income are you bringing in? Where you said? Because I mean, my grandfather, bless his heart, he's not alive now, but we used to always my grandmother's house. My grandmother was always opening the door for people to live in the house, and I can remember my grandfather having those conversations with people who stay about the 3-month range. What are your intentions? What is your plans? We got you. You here? You're on your feet. I have no problem with you staying here. I have no problem you doing this. But what is your plans?
We have a similar situation. We've only had one person stay with us. That was a friend. And Tommy started out in the very beginning saying, this is how much time you have. And the friend that moved down here I got why he needed somewhere to stay. Like he had a job, he moved down, but his job immediately transferred him here. So he didn't have the time to go and look for a place. He like found out he was being transferred. I have to be at work Monday. There's not enough time to figure that out. But every day he got off work, he went out and looked for places. And I don't think did he have to buy any additional time? Like he was out before whatever time frame Tommy gave him. Yeah, Tommy gave him 2 weeks, and he was. You gave him 3 weeks. He gave him whatever time period, but he was gone in 2 weeks because he found a place. He signed a lease. He moved into the place. But I always say you got to let somebody come to your house. If you're going to let them come to your house and stay, you need to put a perimeter on it. Don't wait until they get there to put the perimeter in. Like you need to come in knowing the locks are gonna be changed at the 21-day mark. I'm saying I'm actually gonna change them, but you're not gonna call this your residence anymore.
I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna keep it moving because my husband told me to be quiet. We literally had somebody come stay with us, and when we moved to our new house, they still stayed there.
Yeah, I wish I'd have sold it to him.
I'm saying so. Yeah.
Well, I was in that situation that Mac was in with my cousin. Like, when I moved down here, and I stayed with my cousin for about 5 months, and she was like, "Well, it's time," and both of us knew it. Both of us knew it. Now she like when it's the funniest thing, and we talk about it now. When I did finally find a place, she helped me move, and she's a year older than me, so she left me a little bag that had all my snack. Like she had noodles, Vienna sauce, like she like real life, and it was hidden too. So it was like I had to find it. But she told me, she was like, "Man, you started bringing girls over to the house, and you got way too comfortable." And you have to go out on your own.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
This is gonna be home. You have to go out on your own. And so I tell her to this day, I appreciate her doing that because I wasn't planning on moving nowhere. This was comfortable.
We would all be living together if he had it his way.
We like by now we would have been on our own.
If she could live here right now, you would take it.
Yeah, because she would help out. But it's a it's a thing that has to happen, and I don't think parents, like the way that they have that relationship set up, I don't think that's a conversation they'll have.
Right.
And until he gets ready to move away from Nashville, he can live there. Is probably what that conversation went to. So
don't do it, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Have the conversation.
Set boundaries.
Please have the conversation.
We might do a show about that. Might do a show about that. You got some good success stories. You got some horror stories.
Mm-hmm.
But have that conversation. But again, he needs to find, because he got to realize now. Back to McKinley, he's married. Yep. So if they're going to go somewhere else, and if Dominique's going to stay with him, what happens after the 8 weeks? Where are we going? Well, we can't go. We all can't live at a friend's house, right?
He gonna have to sign him a lease. That lease he didn't want to sign all this time.
Right. So
we're gonna have to get a lease.
Right. So we're gonna have to go somewhere. So right now, but I want, from her standpoint, right? Mm-hmm. He's putting all the pressure on her. Right. As a woman, she's getting all the pressure put on her. Okay. She's feeling like I'm gonna have to really take care of all this with him, all this for him. And so he's going to have to come bring something to the table. He got to bring something to the table to make her feel comfortable. It's that security gland or that comfort zone that she's at. She got to have it. She has to have it. And but the thing, added to the y'all talk about the joking area earlier. Talk about this situation.
She got a whole list.
She got
a running list.
She ain't feeling this, bro. If you live with me, have a curfew to bedtime.
They set her up, man. They set her up for failure. That's what sucks. Because this man, I don't think this man should have been selected based off of time alone spent in the city.
That's what I'm saying. That irks my nerves. When they do these seasons and they have people on there that aren't even from the place where they are, like. You got native Nashville people, and you pick somebody that just been here for 5 months. Does that really count?
Shoot, that's Ready to Love. That's Ready to Love. Ain't nobody from Miami.
That one, nobody.
With
But
nobody
I'm
from
just saying, like we're transplants of Atlanta, but we've been here. It's like you have to choose people that aren't a flight risk.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like this dude comes from Michigan to California to Nashville, and it's like, bro, what's going on?
But you know what? To be fair, Shaq's a flight list. Yeah, so I just did that because you people who mess up words and you one of the people that laugh at you. Right? She's one of the people that man, when you start messing up, she just keep laughing.
I can't hear the rest of the conversation because I'm stuck where you messed the word up. I'm still laughing.
Shaq is also a flight risk. If you look, if you listen to Shaq said I went from college to college to college.
But at least he got a place to stay.
But we're not talking about that. We're not talking about that.
Job.
Right. But Shaq was talking about he's a flight risk because he's been at this university, that university, and he's going wherever he needs to go. And old girl ain't leaving.
Who?
Kirsten ain't leaving Nashville.
But again, I'm telling you, the difference is when they go to Shaquille's place, he gonna have a place. McKinley don't have no place. And when you living out your suitcase for 5 months, what does that say to me? You ain't gonna be here long.
Yeah.
And your mother offered to pay for you to come home.
So you know that's been a conversation.
There you go.
They ain't had a conversation about him moving, so
there you go.
But let's commend the mom for just having $50,000 to,
to
like,
just
hey,
throw away.
Yeah.
It's for her. Hold on, anything she's giving it for her baby. Y'all know y'all give y'all money, the kids money if they ask for it.
But she asked for that. She like, I'll give it to you. Don't do it.
You know what I gotta say? What I would say to my babies? See it through, my boy.
My guy.
Yeah, my guy.
See it through.
You make
what color you want me to wear?
See if it works, man. Because
I'm not saving you this time.
Yeah,
no.
Say that, my boy. Yeah, you on this? You on your own. You decided to sign up for this show. See it through. Hey, here you go. Here you go, partner. I'm here for advice. I don't know, man. This right here is a train wreck.
Yeah. And we see it coming.
It is. This right here is bad.
I like what Dee Brown said. She says, imagine how all the other good, stable men that signed up for the show feel that they picked Mac over them. I know they're like, but God, dog. Really?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, I get it. Y'all picked him because you knew it was gonna. Got it.
But again, hold up, my man. We gave Steve Noy we gave Steve a pass. Steve really have a place to live in or a pot to.
But he was from
an
Boston.
apartment though.
Right.
He
just had been traveling.
Steve did have an apartment. You're right.
His daddy was like
he had all the LED lights around his house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Steve had all the LED lights around his house.
He just didn't have a job.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
He was weighing his options.
Right. He was a gig.
Y'all said Mac does what? Mac does cannabis sales? What does Mac do?
No,
he had a cannabis.
He has a cannabis business. I don't know what that means.
Oh,
I don't know what all the facets of the cannabis business are, but when I think about it, I think about you either growing, distributing. You could actually be like the dispensary, but you can't do any of that in Nashville.
Maybe invest in
you can invest in it.
Yeah, maybe invest in it. Maybe he got a cannabis farm like Mike Tyson.
Maybe he's made a bad decision in the past that his mama gave him a large sum of money for, and he did like throw it into the weed business.
Right. You correct. I was about to say that too, Reed. I saw him he was on a construction show one time. He was a carpenter on the construction. You know how they bring people in to fix your house, whatever.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he was doing construction stuff. He was on one of these shows.
Oh, he a jack of all trades and
he was on the show.
Yeah, he was
he's trying to get famous.
Yeah, he was like a guest carpenter or whatever on like.
I mean, like if you look at Married at First Sight, man, you can say it plays on the idea that this experiment doesn't work. Because I mean, you can get on here, be a likable guy, your relationship don't work, but you all of a sudden have all these people that follow you, and it
Danielle,
turns it into a different.
Oh, you can flip it.
Yeah,
Danielle, do you know what he does? I think that's the gray area for me.
Mm-hmm.
Is what
Yeah.
does he do? Because I'm obviously not knocking the cannabis business. Like it can make money. It just doesn't make sense in Nashville. I think that's where my issue is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you invest in the cannabis companies, man. They on the New York Stock Exchange these days. I
yep.
mean, so he may have. I mean, hopefully he does something that Dominique could kind of approve of, because she want to know. But we all know that Dominique's not moving.
Mm-mm.
I
If it
think that's
make
where,
money, it makes sense to Dominique, man. So,
yeah, but it makes money, makes sense. But she ain't moving away from her mama. Remember, she said she
oh
called her
no,
mama every day. Which,
She said she lives an hour from her mama.
yeah,
I would see her trying to get an apartment around the corner.
uh huh.
Or even like my dad bought a house next door.
So my parents bought a house in the neighborhood
They
to,
did.
to stay close to us. Well, stay close to the grandkids. I'll put it that way.
that's
But neighborhood so stay close to the grandkids. So we'll see. Her mama, I mean, I I like her and I kind of like him, but I just don't see it working.
Yeah, I like both of them. I just don't like them together.
yeah. That's my problem. It's
Yeah.
if he was grounded in Nashville, like if Nashville was home to him, I think the conversation is a lot different. But
Mm-hmm.
because it's not home, and then he is this person that nomadic,
Mm-hmm.
it poses it to be a problem within the married at first sight realm of things. I think the experts need to expert better.
Yes. Well, don't we get to see some of the experts this week?
I think
Pastor Cow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we can see Pastor Cal this week. So we'll look forward to that,
It
man.
look like this episode gonna be rough. Got some people that's pulling a old what was Mindy pulling a Zach,
Yeah, Zach and Minnie.
pulling a Brett and Ryan.
We're gonna see if Pastor Cal can.
This is early though.
I know.
No, we
I
see.
get no. It's like the other the girl that says she's a good person all the time. Alyssa,
Yeah, Alyssa.
Shoot,
they made it through the honeymoon. It was like, nah, I'm good.
nah.
didn't make it.
Morgan and Bill too.
Morgan and Ben, right? Let's see
Yep.
if we can Pastor Cal take off his glasses on this episode. Like,
Yeah,
He gonna probably rub and shake his head quite a bit.
yeah.
and shake his head and
And
we'll
rub
see.
it like,
And rub
oh my God, did we really pick these people?
Mm-hmm.
it.
That's
Yeah,
too funny.
that's why couples couch is also back this week.
Who's on it?
Katina and
never watched
Katina and Elijah one's on there.
I thought they broke up.
They did, but they filmed this before. Jep T and Sharnice is on there.
I thought they broke up.
They
I-
broke
Really?
up.
They're together.
Broke up. got
That's what I
back
said. I
together.
thought they was done. This
Nah,
last
No.
You know, that's who got me watching this. Like I saw him on YouTube.
Oh, Jep T.
Yeah,
Stranger Danger.
yeah.
I've never watched Couples Couch. I might give it a shot.
Nah,
It
I'm not.
might.
I'm not saying I'm.
I don't know. Ever since they had Virginia and Eric on there, and like they weren't even freaking together, I was like, why are we doing
But
this?
it's supposed to be different this time. It's supposed to be them watching the show and not you watching them in their life.
Okay.
So it's supposed to be them. Go back to the original way that it was, where they watch the show and giving their opinion and critiques off what they see of the show.
Okay.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah, got that. So, hey, with that being said, man, y'all got anything that you want to promote, talk about, share?
Nope. Still got my channel, Life with Artika. Eventually I'll get this video that I recorded 3 weeks ago uploaded. Tommy's still doing Black History Facts, and kids are still kidding.
Our Saturday coffee breaks.
Oh yeah,
They're a lot of fun.
they are. I enjoy those. We get to discuss the week's topics, and
Kid free.
for the most part, sometimes Quattro makes an appearance.
Hey, Quad. Everybody loves when he makes an appearance.
I know that.
Yeah.
Except for the parents.
Right.
Parents, right?
We be sitting here muting everything and it's like, God, Lee, man. Be still, man.
Well, for Jack and Glenn, you know what we got going on. Glenn's still making videos without me.
I saw that.
I watched one. I'm sorry, Jackie.
I told him, I said, you lucky that I don't know how to run all this stuff. Because when I tell you, I be just making all kind of stuff. I be doing thumbnails and clips and post it. But see, I don't do that.
I've tried to teach her.
Nah.
Text me.
Nah.
All right, I try to teach her.
Walk me through it, girl. And then it'll be like, ah.
My creative juices
It's me without him. Now, how you feel? How you feel?
Some of my creative juices be flowing 5:30 in the morning.
Or sometimes across the room from me.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Or sometimes I see the work in the office.
Rude.
We're in the same office, so sometimes I'm finished up work or finish up a report. I say, you know what? I just thought about this. This sounds like a good video.
But on another note, just because we like to share with y'all, I'm a brag on my husband real quick.
Oh.
So my husband is a wrestling coach, and he just came back from a state tournament with some of his wrestlers, and he had 2 of his wrestlers finish in the top of the state, 2nd place and 5th place. And so he's the first Black wrestling coach at the school he coaches at. So I just want you to know I'm proud of you, husband. I just told everybody. So
Glenn, you want to be a Black?
I'll put you on one. Hey, Tommy, I'll be a Black History fact one day. Nah.
Hey, congratulations, though,
Congratulations.
man. Nah,
and this is his 3rd year taking wrestlers to the state tournament.
That's cool.
Nah, 5th.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Every year,
it's his 5th.
Every year.
See,
every year.
I stand corrected.
Every year.
It's yeah, we need to do the Jack and Cat show. Let's go, sister. Let's do it. Let's do it. We're gonna be on StreamYard. But
Go ahead.
But yeah, I'm sorry, his 5th year. Woo woo, go husband.
Right.
I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all. I appreciate you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, love you.
See, how easy it is.
I know it is, right? Hey, make sure y'all hit that subscribe button. Make sure you check out August Love Story, Talisa Ray, everybody else that follow that rocks with us. We appreciate you guys. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Don't know where you're at, but out here it is sunny, and I might even go take me a walk after my bowl of ice cream.
Mhm.
Y'all have a good one. Talk to y'all later. Quiet.
Bye, y'all.
Want some ice cream?
Look quiet, like anyway.
Anyway, bye y'all.